Hello and good morning or night by the time you watch this. I hope you already had your daily coffee. Today we're watching Master Modes. ISC, Inside Star Citizen Breakdown. We're going to be looking at this, reacting. We all know we're excited about Master Modes. You probably already watched this, and the reason you're watching me is to see what I think about it. So why don't we start watching it and see what I think about it. I'll get a little small leaf over here. Look at me, and we'll get going. By the way, if you're enjoying the other videos on the channel, feel free to subscribe.
Possibilities. At the center of it has always been you and your spaceship. And over the years of development, testing, feedback, and iteration, there have been many changes to the combat and
That's very true.
And in the upcoming
I hear the 1v1ers complaining all the time.
Anticipated of those makes their presence known with the
I've never
arrival of
cared.
Master Modes. And with that comes additional changes to precision targeting.
Okay. I got to get my thoughts out initially before we get into this. My thoughts on Master Modes, by the way, are yes, sir, thank you, please. What it does is give a player more options, and this is what Star Citizen does so well, is gives players options to choose how they want to play, and it becomes a skill-based gameplay loop in every regard of Star Citizen rather than stats points. You know, they could make it that, oh, to switch to navigation mode, you can spec points into nav so you can switch over to that mode faster. And they don't do that. It's just choose when to use these modes. So being able to have a mode that's specific for combat that gets rid of your quantum jumping abilities and then having to spend time to switch into your navigation mode, which then reduces your ability to use other modes, is an incredible change that I think is going to make the verse incredibly balanced. Because now you have to choose when you make engagements and what modes you're currently operating in. You add in engineering gameplay to that. Holy crap, we have some incredibly deep gameplay loop on our hands. So let's keep going. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited about Master Modes.
Gimbal use and more.
What are Master Modes?
He's going to explain it.
So Master Modes is a way for us to really kind of capitalize on what the ships are.
Basically, Master Modes are a new game feature that change all the combat experience inside the game.
Yeah.
So you'll have a mode for fighting in and a mode for flying from place to place then.
A rework of the flight and combat system to essentially try and solve a lot of the problems that players have had with the flight experience.
You can decide if you want to be in full combat mode, or you're just in transit, or you want to get out of a situation as quick as possible.
Master Mode is the thing that makes ship combat exciting and making sure that the ships that you have in the game perform in the roles that we have envisioned for them.
Yogi. It's good. It brings so much more thought to your engagements in space, which space engagement should have. It should be hard to fly a ship in space.
CitizenCon, we've been bringing Master Mode into Arena Commander.
Progress has been quite good, showing off the new modes and letting people get their hands on it.
Collecting the feedback, seeing how players respond to that.
And that's incredible. If you guys didn't see, Master Modes are going to be you'll be able to test them in Arena Commander first in patch 3.23. A lot of cool game modes coming, but that's the one I think a lot of people have their eyes on. So make sure you get an Arena Commander and test it out.
How players react on social channels. We've been testing internally a lot.
It's a very limited selection of ships, but even so, people seem to like it. So we've taken that feedback and carried on making progress and adapting it all to the rest of the ships as well.
We've been watching how players play the game, monitoring analytics, putting it all together.
Dude, that's
with the devs.
Dude, hold up, let's go back. That square is massive. One of the problems with Star Citizen is because it deals in such large distances, and it is closer to the realistic side. Obviously, it's still arcadey compared to an actual simulator, but it got very difficult to track opponents and know what you're shooting at. One thing that's going to be great is the precision mode that I'm sure they'll cover in this. Precision mode targeting is going to be great. It's kind of like VATS. You get a better just look at the profile of the ship you're aiming at. But because other games like No Man's Sky is easier because you're in much closer parameters, and the speeds match a lot better, and the movement's very arcadey. But in this, we needed something. That square is huge.
Monitoring analytics, putting it all together and sharing it with the devs who need to see it.
How the hell do you go about converting 200 chips to vehicles?
unfortunately, there's only really one way to do it, and that's to not get too intimidated by the number. Team effort.
That's a lot to get through.
The difficult part, of course, is try to understand the new game dynamics that the game system creates, especially in an environment like the PU, and then try to being able to deliver the proper game experience for every ship with a different tuning, and that's quite.
And if you're on Twitch, keep chatting away above me
really
here.
Interesting about bringing up a new feature.
So we're moving each individual ship into an archetype, and we're going to rebalance that ship to the archetype as a starting point, and then basically once that's complete, we're going to add the individuality into each ship.
Each ship has been given a full refresh, and we've looked at every ship in the game, assigned them a base archetype so that you know what you're getting into from the get-go.
All ships, based on how big they are and what kind of purpose they serve, will get an archetype assigned to them. A typical archetype is a snub fighter.
Right, yeah,
Very,
between
very
like
small,
medium, heavy, and
very
lights.
agile, but it cannot dish out a lot of damage, and it can also not receive
Jake,
a lot of damage.
is this going to be a big update? Oh my God. Is this going to... This is one of the biggest updates Star Citizen has ever seen. Not just in terms of size. This is more so big in terms of the implications that it has going forward. I have a video coming out, actually, this coming Monday on my main channel. You can go to youtube.com/LeafX. This is the secondary channel where we do this kind of stuff. But the main channel, I have a video coming out talking about the hype that is going to be behind 2024, what CIG needs to continue and carry that hype on, because they're off to a great start. They've been throwing in a ton of small different updates here and there, and 323 is massive. All the stuff they've been working on in Squadron 42 is coming over to Star Citizen. So the polish is starting to come in as well. And they're really starting to ground themselves as we're getting close to a product we can release. Release won't have every feature they ever wanted. I think they're realizing the feature creep needs to come later. Let's get in the things that make the game feel complete so far. I feel like they'll release once server meshing and base building is in and dealt with properly in terms of being able to manage your bases. And then they polish and then release. But things like this, the combat modes, or sorry, the master modes, they have so many other updates coming in 323. It is going to be massive, massive update. Yes, so if you're looking to play and you haven't played in a bit, this is going to be one to check out. That's for sure. Right now, we're talking about master modes, and you haven't missed anything.
Before it pops. Light fighter. Very maneuverable, decent weapon loadout, and it's basically there for agility engagements.
We're talking about how navigating and combat are two different modes on your ship now.
Pretty agile for its size, but it has a lot more offensive firepower.
Target destroyed.
Heavy fighter. They don't maneuver well, but when you happen to be at the front of them, you can die very, very fast. Now, these are basic tuning archetypes that we have for our fighter ships class, and all ships in that size will be assigned to one of these things. However, based on the ship and what the purpose of the ship is, we have variations of that. For example, we have the interceptor variant of these tunings.
Good, because you want to be, you don't want all of your ships to be the exact same thing. That would just be boring if they just look different. I like the idea of being in a world where this ship's good for this purpose, so you'd buy it. It's like real world. You would buy, sometimes people just buy a car even though it sucks at racing because it looks cool. And some people might want that, but you still want it to do something else. Get you from point A to B, maybe do a couple of delivery missions. So yeah, I like that there's going to be variations and there's a reason to own specific ships.
Of these archetypes. And interceptor tuning for a ship means that this ship exchanges the agility. With agility, we mean the rotation rate and the lateral strafing accelerations.
For firepower.
Speed.
Oh,
so
speed. Okay.
They will not be able to turn their velocity vector much. They will not be able to rotate much, but they will be very, very fast just going forward.
That makes sense.
Racing ships are like the base archetype that almost all racers ended up with so far are interceptors, because racers prefer speed over everything else. But you want to pick the right racer for the race.
Unless you're a Fury LX.
The other end of the range are our, let's call them fighter bomber tunings. That means we trade agility for simply durability. On top of the fighters, we just keep going with this.
What do you mean by durability, though? Is that just means it'll have place for higher, like larger shield generators, just a higher health pool? Because I know, especially with Maelstrom and that, they want to get away from that.
We have
yeah, these nav modes. If you want to better space travel, keep paying attention.
gunboats for ships that are
Because navigation mode
constellation-sized.
will cover that.
We have corvettes for something like a hammerhead, right? So our hammerhead is for us is our anti-fighter corvette. Frigates are basically the biggest ship that players can control in the universe right now. So we're talking Idris, we're talking 890 jumped. I know that players cannot control the Idris.
I was gonna say, what is he talking about there, huh? Well, soon maybe. I think today is there not an Idris event going on? Players are going to get in and fly that thing.
Ships like the Carrack, those are frigates, really, really big ones, but also they will have variations in their tuning based on the brand and what the purpose of the ship is. So these are very big changes that are coming, but the main takeaway is that these archetypes are just reference frames for the type of tuning you want to give a ship. It does not mean that every ship that you have in the verse will fit a specific archetype.
Right.
There are ships which are in between. For example, the Saber. Is it a medium or a light fighter? It's somewhere in between. The Cutlass has not the durability of a heavy fighter, has, however, the turret of a heavy fighter, so it's somewhere in between. So there are ships which do not fit exactly into these frames. But this is the beauty of it, because these ships, we can make them fit anywhere where they want. We just need to make sure that the balance between them is right.
Right. So it's just making sure that a ship that goes really fast doesn't also turn really fast, right? So it's balance. It's making sure they fit within some sort of matrix, right? There isn't a ship that just suddenly exists at the best of the best in every category, and that makes a lot of sense.
Not everything fits in a box, and it would be very boring if it did.
Precision targeting is a new way of aiming at specific parts of a ship. You get the zoomed-in picture of your target. And it allows
Here it
you to
is. This
paint
is what I was talking about
specific
before.
Components of the ship. So
Yeah.
if you want to take out the thrusters, you simply aim towards the thrusters, and your gimbals will make sure the bullet lands exactly where you're aiming.
It's a big rework of the entire target system with the goal to make it not only fit master modes, but also fit the problems we've had with target in the past, which is the control of the weapons and the accuracy.
Yep.
Since master modes is bringing everything closer together and master modes is slowing everything down, we need to make sure that the weapon speeds are adjusted as well.
That's so cool.
Reduce your fire rate. It will therefore decrease the spread and allow you to be more precise where you hit. Good examples for that is if you want to fire at a ship from very far away and you want to make sure that you
Interesting that it also reduces your fire rate to make sure the accuracy is higher. Because what that also does is kind of balance that you're getting better accuracy with the fact that your overall DPS is lowered. So I think that's really cool, because if you don't want to use precision mode and you're just a good pilot and you're in close enough combat quarters anyways, flip out of precision mode and just start railing the person if you don't need to take out specific components, and you're going to have a higher DPS. That's a cool balance. Fuck, I love this. I love the decisions they're making, man. This game is so amazing.
An even better example is if you have a light fighter and you want to help take down a larger ship. You will not be able to take down the ship by yourself, but you can help other players.
Oh, look at that thing.
The turrets with ballistic cannons,
I love
for example,
seeing
and other subsystems. So that allows you to see better what you're currently targeting.
What we're doing is we're bringing all
cool.
weapons into 3 archetypes. We have the anti-fighter weapons that have higher fire rate and a higher velocity that allows you to hit targets such as a horde of gladiuses. And then we have the anti-material weapons. Anti-material weapons is the one you bring out when you and your friends want to hunt a hammerhead. It's got the highest damage of all the weapons. You want to deal as much damage as possible.
Okay, so new damage
The
archetypes.
target is big and it moves slow, so you don't have to worry as much about actually hitting the target. And then we have unspecialized weapons, which are in between the anti-fighters and the anti-materials.
So this is better because it gives you a lot of options for how you want to attack the target. You can just, spray and pray that your shots are going to hit. Or you can go into the precision targeting mode, see all the sub-targets that you have available, and then pick out which of these sub-targets you have.
Dude, I can't wait to watch YouTube videos of people calming together, like, all right, target thrusters, like just hearing them, the amount of depth that'll go into these fights, like the amount of coordination people are going to have. there's going to be a group out there. It won't be my group. There's going to be a group out there that has the cohesion to be able to just be so perfect and precise on their movements and their formations and what they're targeting to just annihilate groups of people so fucking fast. And I'm so excited to watch that on YouTube.
Next to basically seeing what you're actually hitting, you also just get the stunning view of that big ship that you're targeting, right? Like it's a full screen, zoomed in view on your target. You can see it in all its like glory. You can see all the parts you can shoot off. I think it's great.
No, it is
We've
great.
been really happy
You're
with
right,
the
Yogi.
results so far. We're seeing a massive difference in the way combat works and what the players are actually doing within combat, and that's been really good to see. There's still some small things we're working on right now to kind of solve, but we're really happy. You know, we're kind of most of the way there at the moment.
The next big thing that the new aiming system has is the removal of the so-called N-1 system. That means that when you have a gimbal attached to a ship, the weapon attached to the gimbal goes down one
It
size.
has to be one size smaller.
At this point in time, after like lots of testing, we're pretty confident that we don't want the system anymore. So in the future, if you have a size 3 gimbal on your ship, it will carry a size 3 weapon. But we're actually going further with this, because from 3.23 onwards, you will not be able to mount fixed guns on your ship anymore. In addition to that, all the turrets, however, will get gimbals.
Did I hear him?
Ship anymore. In 2.3 onwards, you will not be able. But we're actually going further with this, because from 3.23 onwards, you will not be able to mount fixed guns on your ship anymore.
They're just completely eliminating fixed weapons. I mean, I guess in the future we probably would only have gimbaled weapons, but that is a massive change.
That, all the turrets, however, will get gimbals. So this is a requirement because of precision aiming mode, because the precision aiming mode we also want to be able to use on turrets, and we need a way to make the bullets fly where we want them to fly without cheating. So this means all turrets, they will get gimbals on their guns so they can properly lead. But to still keep turrets more powerful in terms of their weapon employing capabilities, and also because turrets cannot just, you know, jump on the way out of the way, the auto gimbal mode will be something that's exclusively available to turrets. So pilots will still be able to manually gimbal their weapons with, you know, either tying it to their controls or by looking around. But only turrets will be able to use the auto gimbal system, because there's like turrets are supposed to be very, very dangerous.
Right.
And so players just have the choice how to apply the damage the best. However,
Well, with the precision mode, that's a good balance, because now if I go against a hammerhead, I am absolutely targeting those turrets early on in a fight to make sure that they're not there anymore. Wow, these are massive changes, and I gotta say, these are changes for the better. It's been a while since I've watched an ISC, and I've been like, damn, I like what I'm seeing. Like, I'm only like what I'm seeing, but like, it's never been damn.
Also in assisted mode, it will come with a reduction in fire rate, just to keep things fair.
So the feedback, it has been going pretty well.
We've been really happy with working with the community who's been playing this to kind of fine-tune it and make the changes needed, and we have made a lot of changes based upon these feedback.
Most of the feedback that we've been getting has been pretty positive around Squadron Battle, where there's some pretty good group combat dynamics players are reporting positively on. There's some really cool gameplay emerging, such as how players evade now is quite different. You have to drop chaff, break your target lock, break away, like find your opportunity to break away from your pursuing ship.
What we can see at the moment is that players are very happy with Squadron Battles. Players are not very happy with the 1v1, so this is more an area where we have to improve.
Of course,
I don't do 1v1, so
feedbacks about some tuning choices.
Doesn't matter to me.
Make some type of archetypes better rather than not. But in general, it's going to be mostly appreciated.
The players are really enjoying the different roles that we've got. The interceptors are quite successful. There's been some pretty good feedback around the Buccaneer. We've probably still got a little bit of work to do.
It's been a while since I've seen the Buccaneer useful.
And 1v1.
It makes sense. They've been showing the Buccaneer a lot.
You can stay close.
In a lot of their promo material, like just in their cinematics. So it makes sense.
We say you are much more in control of staying in a closer formation with other people that you're playing with. When we do our regular playtests, we can actually fly in our own version of a formation, and we can track targets without being several kilometers off each other.
That's your version of a formation.
Our version of a formation is generally, if we can see each other still, and we're not accidentally shooting each other, I'd consider that a good formation.
That's a formation.
I'm not sure that's the textbook definition of formation. I can see you and not crash into you. That's not a formation, Josh.
It's a win if at least two of the four of us manage to make it away in one piece without any friendly fire incidents.
So the thing that excites me the most about Master Modes is if you just watch the footage of players dogfighting at the minute, you can really see how close all of those ships are. And it just feels so much more
Yes,
cinematic.
and that's what I was saying before. The problem is that the fights often happened at such larger distances you couldn't see your targets. And it's something that Star Citizen continually felt unapproachable as a result of. And I really love that now when I'm shooting something, I can see that something.
About the foundation of the whole flight experience moving forward, because I fully understand that this isn't a game just about combat. We want to communicate that players who want to do combat, they'll go into the master mode for combat. But if you want to go from A to B, you've now got a mode.
Looks like they're
where
not
you
going to
can
cover
do that
navigation
without being harassed as much. So that's going to be a big plus for the game.
It's leveling the playing field a little bit more now. As we slowly breathe more life into each one of these ships, you're going to know the ship like the back of your hand.
People seem to like how much more frantic and intimate all the fights are in the Arena Commander testing that we've done so far. And I'm looking forward to hearing people's thoughts once we've rolled it out across all the ships.
Not everything that isn't 3-2-3 you can see already in the master mode, AC mode. It's there's a lot more stuff coming, especially to weapon treatment.
No, there is. This was genuinely beyond what I thought. Sorry, I interrupted him.
Weapon treatment, how we use capacitors.
Oh, okay.
But overall, based on the feedback that we got so far and also from increasing player numbers, we're pretty confident that we're on the right track.
Right.
So master modes and the gunnery system and the whole combat experience is a huge undertaking for us, and we cannot do it without.
It's like a complete rework, man. Like foundationally.
We need your feedback. Be honest. Tell us what you don't like. Please also tell us what you like, so we can make all this space combat game great together.
So
Wow,
what did we learn
that's
this
huge.
week? Well, we learned that with master modes comes a rebalancing of ship performance into dedicated archetypes.
Thank you for petting the leaf.
That these archetypes are simply where tuning starts and will be grown from to ensure that each ship and vehicle provides a unique experience going forward. And that precision targeting, weapon gimbal, and balance changes all combine with master modes to provide a more
This was a huge
visceral
update, man.
combat experience for pilots when they arrive in the upcoming Alpha 323. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
Hey, I have that glass. So, I hope to listen to Avenger 1. To a degree. My problem is that I don't think you should... Uh-oh. I thought that's what they were going to do last week. Dope. Wow. So can we talk about this for 1 second here before the video ends? Hot dang. That was a lot to take in. I did not expect the fact that hard points are gone now. Everything's gimbaled. I thought they were going to cover navigation mode. They didn't. I'm sure that'll be another ISC then. Which again, Jake, you were asking before. New navigation mode is going to be phenomenal because you can just quantum any direction you want as far as you want, and it becomes a little mini game. So that's massive, but you have to switch between navigation mode and your combat mode, your SCM mode, which is this. And this mode is so massive. The precision targeting, the fact you've got the green boxes now, the fact that you've got your weapon archetypes to choose how you want to battle, the fact you have the ship archetypes, combat is going to change. Whether you engage another ship is going to matter based off your knowledge of those things. And that's something I always loved about Star Citizen, is the fact that it was very much a knowledge-based game. The more you played, the more you knew, the better you got. It was, in turn, a skill-based game, part of the skill being knowledge. And because not only is the knowledge there, you need the mechanics to be able to pull off what you're doing. So the fact that all of these things are coming together is, in my opinion, phenomenal. Like, it's adding to what Star Citizen was and should be. So this is looking good. I'm going to be playing the Arena Commander mode. Let me know if you guys are excited or not excited about it down in the comments below. But before we go to answer Doyle in the Twitch chat's question or the statement, I hope they're listening to Avenger 1. Yes and no. They need to be listening to everyone because I've seen it before. Roller Champs was a good example of this. Remember Roller Champions, that game that was dead on arrival? Yeah, it's because they only listened to the top players. That's a problem. You only listen to the people that are good at the thing that the current mode that it is. You're going to echo chamber yourself into more and more of that specific style of gameplay. The problem is that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best style of gameplay. Sure, it's great for your best dogfighters out there that are good at version 1.2 are going to want version 1.3 to be like version 1.2. But what if you change to version 1.3 and it's nothing like version 1.2, and all of a sudden you get 90% more players having more fun with it? Well, that's why you need to listen to everyone. Yes, listen to your players that intricately know these systems, like Avenger 1, and make sure that you're getting that mechanical feedback on stuff. Where can things be pushed to? What is the meta at this moment? How do we avoid that meta? And how do we get more players involved while keeping it a skill-based thing, but also giving players an option that are less skilled to survive or get away, or at least have fun in those moments? Because if version 1.2 is very meta specific and it's like you have to be so like a top 1%, so the 99% of other players that get into a dogfight just die right away, that's not fun for most players. Now, again, you shouldn't cater just to the lowest common denominator, but you need to make sure that even if they're losing those fights, that yes, you're that top 1%, you're going to win those fights because you're better. You still need to make sure losing isn't the worst experience in life. You don't want to get spawn killed every 3 seconds. That's not fun. You want to still, while you're losing, have it be fun. And I think something like Master Modes allows for even the players that are losing to still have fun with all of this. With the current version of Master Modes, the SCM mode has this speed so limited that it isn't skill-based anymore. It's a numbers game. I absolutely disagree because now it's going to be especially when it comes to armor plating. I think we're thinking too short term. You got to remember that it's not just going to be the health of a ship. You already have ships being able to shut down. Why am I forgetting it? Shut them down. You can target, the engines. You can make the ship soft death and board them and do whatever. It's going to become more and more that when Maelstrom comes in and you start being able to take off someone's wing, and you might have a worse ship than them, but if you target their wing, take it off, and they can't fly anymore in atmosphere, they may go crashing down. It has absolutely nothing to do with numbers. It has to do with strategy at that point. But we have to think of what the end product is going to be, and at this SCM mode is thinking about the end product. The current version of Master Modes, sure, but I don't think there's any point to criticize the current version if we're keeping the end point, the launch mentality in mind, what it's going to should look like once the game releases. So it's very much a skill based, because now you have to choose, am I going to get involved in this fight in the first place? I'm going up against a Buccaneer that's going to have better guns than me and they're faster, but what if I have a ship that has better rotational value and I can vector around this ship and I can beat a Buccaneer with less DPS because that ship can't turn or follow me as fast in a fight that isn't a straight shot, right? So choosing your engagements based off the ship that you're going up against is going to be very important. And it's still, even if you get in a 1v1, you are in that mode, you're in SCM, just because the person has better weapons doesn't mean they're going to beat you. There's still going to be the mechanical skill, and there's still going to be the ship archetype differences that allow you to approach these fights strategically. This is why I'm so excited by what we just watched. I think this is a massively good change that's going to allow players that in any form have a chance of fighting if they have the knowledge, because now you're going to be able to approach a situation or just choose to avoid to approach it. You start when someone starts shooting at you and you're already in navigation mode. Quick, what is it? Scan. That's this kind of ship. I don't have a good matchup for that. I'm leaving. I'm just going to quantum jump out of here. And hey, it's this kind of ship. If I play this right, if we take a head-on-head, I lose this. But if I play this right strategically, I can win. We're in an asteroid field. I can use that to my advantage. We're in Atmo. I can use that to my advantage. Or I'm at a disadvantage. There's so many elements that now play into these fights because of these modes that I will have to say I cannot disagree, or I have to disagree that this SCM mode is a bad thing. I think this is a phenomenal thing, especially considering what they're going for. If you look at it specifically in a current mode, the whole game sucks because there's so many things that are relying on other things and what it's going to be, which is why, again, I'm going to be having a video coming out, by the way, soon. Sorry for this rant, but I'm going to have a video be coming out soon that's about why it's okay to not play Star Citizen, or how to enjoy Star Citizen now until it gets to a finalized state. But you have to keep that mentality in mind of what it's going to be, because that's what we're working towards. And I think it's very easy for us to look at right now and say, this sucks right now, but it should be later. And I truly believe, and again, feel free to disagree with me, but I truly believe what we're seeing here in this ISC is what we need for the end game. I'm very excited. Either way, it's going to be in the Arena Commander mode. So hop in and play. Give your feedback. If you disagree with what I just said, give them that feedback, because I could just be one guy that doesn't know what he's talking about, and your feedback could be the better feedback that they need. So get in Arena Commander mode. As Yogi said, they need it. Let them know if you like it or don't like it, and I'll be in there. I'll see you in there. Regardless, please, again, let me know. Comments below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? And if you liked my opinion, then you better hit the subscribe and like button, because it's just weird if you, that means you hate me. It just, I really like this guy's opinion. I'm not going to get reward. What the heck? Come on. Give me a little something back. Okay. Give me a little something back. Hopefully I'll see you guys in future videos. Remember, this channel here is all about the weird stuff we do on the side. My main channel will be linked below, youtube.com/LeafX. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.